one of the things I think needs to be discussed, according to my notes here, is the next new department for that governments need. So, as mentioned, the idea of Doge, that's something I would talk about 15, 20 years ago, friends and family, this idea that this department that goes in. And then, of course, people like Elon Musk pretend they thought about it first, and I doubt he did. 15, 20 years ago, I doubt he did. But again, he's rich, so what's it matter what I think, right? Rich people dictate what becomes popular. They control it. That's one thing I've learned the hard way in my life, and that's a big motivator for the show because otherwise you wouldn't know this kind of stuff. So I'm going to tell you something that might be 15 years ahead as well, but because I'm going to broadcast it, it won't be 15 years ahead. Someone might see it and it will be maybe a year ahead. Maybe someone will do it right away. So the Department of Government Efficiency makes a lot of sense. But what about, and I don't have the exact wording for it, but it's the Department of Bad Luck. And what it is the the premise, and it one of the things it covers is homelessness. And one of the reasons homelessness exists is because there's bad luck in the world. Not everyone has that. You can do the 99% favored thing and all the time and just say, well, yeah, I just picked the 99% favored things. I invest in those and that's how I make money, right? But every now and then, every 100th person gets, I'm like people like me get that absolute bad deal now and then, and there's no correction to it. Like there's nothing in the system that fixes it. It just then it actually gets worse, right? That you're like, well, you made a mistake once. Now we don't trust you, even though it was just bad luck on the first mistake. It's like the way I produce this show. I think there's an issue with the algorithm where if it promotes it a little too much, and then if it gets flagged as not like they weren't edited yet. So how was I supposed to know that would be a permanent strike against it? That if like I'm just trying to upload the stuff initially, then edit it afterwards, but the a number of impressions went down. This isn't explained anywhere in the notes. There's no one who teaches you this, but you have to kind of learn this. So, but in life, that's just one example of things that could happen in life. A person might not, a storm. Think of people hit by tornadoes, just randomly hit by tornadoes and various other things. Katrina, like all the homeless people that were caused by Katrina were undoubtedly um, like you could just talk to them on the street and it was like, yeah, they just didn't have insurance and they had no other options. And that's the other thing this Department of Bad Luck would cover. It becomes the nationalized insurance company. If you've watched the series, I've pointed out how illogical uh, the whole insurance system is, even like for healthcare, but just general insurance. It should just be a nationalized system and under the Department of Bad Luck. Okay. Now, I don't think you would call it that. You'd probably give it a more, reasonable name. Maybe the um, Department of Stability or something, or just to ensure. Basically it deals with all the outlier cases, and this isn't a thing for the Department of Government Efficiency. The Department of Government Efficiency, it just looks at dumb ideas and dumb planning and illogical logistics, and it figures things out. But the Department of Bad Luck is not so much a planning thing; it's an examination of outlier events, earthquakes, tornadoes, um, people getting cancer and having no coverage. This is not something that you can like directly like you can't specifically do something to easily control it. Like if you try to put controls in the system for it directly, you could become inefficient. Like if you screen for cancer every 3 months, that becomes inefficient, right? So it's sort of like it could also be responsible for UBI too, the Department of Bad Luck. Maybe just call it the Universal Basic Income, or uh, basic essentials, or something like that. It's just the widespread net for all the unplanned for stuff in life, and that the consequences. Like if you don't catch a problem right away and fix it, it spirals out of control, right? Like if you just ignore the warning messages and you don't change something in the setup, it's going like that's what the Department of Bad Luck. It's looking for things that you go, well, you know what, the system did work correctly, but yeah, the probabilities are bad things happen. So I think that's I think you'll start seeing. I don't know if that's the right name for it. Yeah, maybe you call it the National Security Institute or something. Like it just ensures that the basic income is given to people, and disasters don't slow down anything. That just moves along. It ties in FEMA and like FEMA is probably covered with that too, but a much broader. It's insurance. It's FEMA. It's all the things that just look for the outlier events, and again a little bit of policing for bad actors in there. But I think that's an idea and that'll probably solve homelessness. It would replace the insurance industry and fix homelessness, and probably a bunch of other things that like if you keep people healthier and productive, that's a good thing too. For every life you save from cancer of a productive person, all that work gets reintroduced. So that's worth millions of dollars. If you have to spend $100,000 to save a person who generates $1 million of wealth, it makes perfect sense too. It's efficient.